The breaking of the bonds, the roots of Ragnarok. The breaking of bonds refers to the moment when the monstrous wolf Fenrir breaks free from the chains that bound him, leading to his involvement in the events of Ragnarok, which is the end of the world in Norse mythology. The story of the breaking of bonds begins with the birth of Fenrir, the son of Loki, the trickster god, and the giantess Angrboda. Due to his monstrous size and potential for destruction, the gods feared Fenrir and sought to control him. They initially attempted to raise him in Asgard, the realm of the gods, but as he grew larger and more dangerous, they became increasingly wary of him. To prevent Fenrir from wreaking havoc, the gods devised a plan to bind him. They commissioned the dwarves, skilled artisans of Norse mythology, to create chains strong enough to restrain the wolf. The dwarves forged 2 sets of chains. The first set, known as lading, was unsuccessful in containing Fenrir, as he easily broke free from them. Undeterred, the gods enlisted the help of the mighty god Tyr, who volunteered to place his hand in Fenrir's mouth as a sign of goodwill and trust, while the gods bound him with a new chain called Gleipnir. Fenrir, sensing deception, was initially hesitant to be bound again, but agreed under the condition that one of the gods placed their hand in his mouth. Tyr, demonstrating remarkable courage and sacrifice, agreed to this condition, knowing that he would lose his hand once Fenrir realized he could not break free. As Fenrir allowed himself to be bound by Gleipnir, he quickly realized the trickery of the gods and furiously bit off Tyr's hand. Despite this, the gods successfully bound Fenrir with Gleipnir, a chain crafted from impossible elements such as the sound of a cat's footsteps, the beard of a woman, the roots of a mountain, the sinews of a bear, the breath of a fish, and the spit of a bird. With Fenrir securely bound, the gods left him chained on a desolate island called Lyngvi, where he awaited his role in the events of Ragnarok. It is prophesied that during Ragnarok, Fenrir will break free from his chains, leading to his involvement in the final battle against the gods, ultimately resulting in the destruction of the world. After being bound with the unbreakable chain Gleipnir, Fenrir remained chained on the desolate island of Lyngvi, where he awaited his role in the events of Ragnarok, the end of the world in Norse mythology. Despite his imprisonment, Fenrir continued to grow in size and strength, biding his time until he would play his part in the final battle against the gods. During Ragnarok, the apocalyptic event in Norse mythology, Fenrir, the monstrous wolf, finds a way to break free from his chain Gleipnir through sheer strength and fury. Despite the gods' efforts to bind Fenrir with an unbreakable chain, Fenrir's immense power and rage ultimately enable him to overcome his constraints. In the lead-up to Ragnarok, the bonds that hold Fenrir weaken as the chaos of the end times unfolds. The prophecies of Ragnarok foretell Fenrir's escape and his involvement in the final battle against the gods. Sensing his opportunity, Fenrir summons all his strength and ferocity, using his powerful jaws and brute force to break free from the chains that once restrained him. With his chains shattered and his fury unleashed, Fenrir joins the forces of chaos and destruction, rampaging across the battlefield and posing a dire threat to the gods and their allies. His escape marks a pivotal moment in the unfolding events of Ragnarok, symbolizing the triumph of chaos over order and setting the stage for the climactic battle that will decide the fate of the cosmos. Despite his ferocity and power, Fenrir ultimately meets his own demise during Ragnarok. As the cataclysmic events unfold and the world is consumed by fire and floods, Fenrir succumbs to the forces of destruction, perishing alongside many of the other gods and mythical beings. In the final battle of Ragnarok, Fenrir meets his end. He was slain by Odin's son, Vidar, during Ragnarok. Vidar, wearing a special shoe made from all the discarded scraps of leather in the world, possesses the strength and courage to defeat Fenrir. He places his foot on Fenrir's lower jaw, grips the upper jaw with his hands, and tears the wolf's jaws apart, ending Fenrir's rampage and avenging Odin's death. Despite his eventual defeat at the hands of Vidar, Fenrir's breakout from his chains demonstrates his formidable strength and determination, solidifying his role as a central figure in the cataclysmic events of Ragnarok. While Fenrir's tale ends in tragedy, his role in the events of Ragnarok marks him as a central figure in Norse mythology, embodying the chaotic forces that ultimately bring about the end of the world and the beginning of a new era.